"Hello, Mr. Rusty," said Florence one day. "Do you think it's time I moved?" said Mr. Rusty. "I mean, I've lived here for a very long time, and it's very nice and all that, but every now and then I wonder what it would be like somewhere else." "Oh," said Florence, "what's brought this on?" "Oh, nothing really. I just thought that maybe my life would be better if I moved house, you know, got somewhere a bit more spacious, perhaps, a bit more convenient." "Yes," said Zebedee, arriving. "You definitely need a change of address." "I thought so," said Mr. Rusty. "Well, don't do anything rash," said Florence. "You should at least have a look around," said Zebedee, "and see what's available." "Yes," said Mr. Rusty, "a little terraced house, perhaps, in a quiet tree-lined street." "Let's go house hunting," said Zebedee, and off they went. "And a very good morning to you, sir," said Dougal. "Allow me to show you round an immaculately presented, spacious, three-storey family home with magnificent views over the garden towards the Roundabout area." "All right," said Mr. Rusty. "You lead the way." "Possibly in need of certain renovations, but retaining many original features," said Dougal. "Yeah, it's like a wigwam, except for the bricks and, the roof," said Dylan. "It provides versatile accommodation and benefits from all the usual services provided in this much sought-after area," said Ermintrude, sincerely. "All of the windows are south-facing," said Mr. McHenry. "It's a bargain," said Brian. "I wouldn't touch it if I were you," said the train. "At least not until you've had a proper survey done. A lot of these old houses have drain problems, you know, and then there's the rising damp and the repointing to take into consideration. And the woodworm, and condensation under the sills, and subsidence, and cracks." "Yes, well, never mind about all that," said Dougal. "What do you think?" "Well," said Mr. Rusty, hesitating, "it's not exactly what I had in mind, but, there are three things to consider," said Dougal, "when looking for a house, and they are location, location, and location. Need I say more?" "Well," said Mr. Rusty, "I suppose I'd better take a look around it then, hadn't I?" "Walk this way," said Dougal. "Go on," said Brian. "Yeah," said Dylan. "Some of the floorboards may need replacing," said Mr. McHenry. "I've never done this before," said Mr. Rusty. "What exactly am I meant to be looking out for?" "Inspiration," said Dougal. "Search me," said Florence. "Oh, well, here we go," said Mr. Rusty. "Phew, anyone would think they had nothing better to do." And he walked into the house to take a look around. "And of course," said Zebedee, "if you need any financial assistance, mortgages and the like, I mean, if you want to borrow some money, just ask." "Oh, yes, of course. We at Dougal and Dougal can do all of that for you later on," said Dougal, getting stuck in the scaffolding. "I think he likes it," said Brian. "Like, of course he does," said Dylan. "It's a beautiful abode." "Have you ever thought about life insurance?" said Zebedee. "All right, I'll take it," said Mr. Rusty, coming out again. "Really?" they all said. Oh dear. "Oh dear, oh dear. What happened?" said Mr. Rusty. "It seems to have gone," said Florence, relieved. "Looks like you've been gazumped," said the train. "Someone else got there first, old boy. Lucky escape, if you ask me. Was probably riddled with dry rot anyway, and the plumbing was definitely up the spout. Millstone round the neck." Mr. Rusty had decided he needed a new house, and he'd been waiting in all day for the builders, but they hadn't come. So Brian and Dougal and Dylan and Ermintrude and Mr. McHenry had decided to help him. "At least you can still rely on the railway," said the train, coughing. "You lot just relax and put your feet up and let the train take the strain." Modern, clean, reliable and comfortable. And he coughed again. "Hello, Mr. Rusty," said Florence. "Help is at hand." "That's very kind," said Mr. Rusty, "but I think I'll be able to manage by myself, thank you very much. I've done the roof already. Dovetailed gabling. Not one nail in the whole thing. I used to be a bit of a joiner, you know." "No, I didn't," said Florence. "That was before I became a member of the Magic Circle, of course." "You can't just knock a load of wood together and expect it to stay up," said Zebedee. "You need an architect." Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's off to work we go, said Mr. McHenry, and Brian, and Dylan, and Ermintrude. "It's going to be a long day," said Dougal, "I can tell. And I'm definitely going to need some sustenance." "Hello, Dougal," said Florence. "Hello, everybody. Have you come to help Mr. Rusty?" "Oh, yeah, like I've drawn up a plan for how I see the new sleeping quarters. What do you think? I saw it as like this far-out geodesic eco-dome." Said Florence. "Rubbish," said Dougal. "These are the drawings from the Dougal-McDougal partnership, and as you can see, they're very, very exciting." "Oh, it looks a bit cold and dark in there," said Florence. "Exactly," said Dougal. "Perfect for storing vintage sugar." "I think we should modernise," said Ermintrude, "and have 16 stories at least. You might find it a bit high-tech, but I would be providing a resident caretaker at all times, of course." "What about you, Brian?" said Florence. "Well, I've done something," said Brian, going all shy. "It's lovely and cosy and comfy and homey." "Just about what you'd expect from an introverted invertebrate," said Dougal, scoffing. "Oh," said Brian. "Well, I liked it." "And you, Mr. McHenry?" said Florence. "Oh, I don't think we need a structure at all," said Mr. McHenry. "I think we should do it al fresco, as they say. No building, just flowers." "Well, we're not getting very far, are we?" said Florence. "Well, what do you expect?" said Dougal. "We don't seem to be able to agree on anything." "One thing we are all agreed on," said Zebedee, "is just how very important architects are." They all agreed. "So all we've got to do is hit on a master plan which puts everyone's ideas on paper, and then we might have earned our commission," said Zebedee. "Well, I'll have a go," said Florence, "but I'm not exactly sure how all this is going to help Mr. Rusty." "Brilliant," said Zebedee. "That's enough for today. Now all we need is some builders." "Just a little bit more off the sides, dear heart. Not too much. Just a snip. Lovely." "Hello," said Florence. "How's it looking?" "Awful," said Dougal. "It's going to look absolutely awful, if you ask me." "Don't say that," said Florence. "I'm sure it'll look lovely." "Oh, really? It's going to look awful, you're going to say it looks lovely, and then we're going to have to find her a new hat to cover it all up," said Dougal. "No, we won't," said Florence. "Yes, we will," said Dougal. "Hello, dear hearts. Look at my new hairstyle." "It's the new me," said Ermintrude. "Well," said Dougal, "how does it look?" "It's awful," said Florence. "Thank you." "Well, what do you think? Trendy?" "Go on," said Dougal. "Say it." "You look lovely, Ermintrude," said Florence. "Flatterer." "Hello, need a hat?" said Brian. Something big, please, said Florence. Yes, something that covers everything up, said Dougal. Like a big Mexican sombrero, perhaps. I've got just the thing, said Brian. At Brian's Mexican Hattery, we have Mexican hats for all emergencies. They don't look very Mexican to me, said Dougal. Now, let me see. No. 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 No, definitely not. No. No nonsense, please, senor. I won't keep you long. But how about me, eh? Plenty of room up top, and you could always squash me down to avoid low-flying cactuses. Well, how about it, eh? Arriba, arriba, arriba. Yes, said Dougal, but it doesn't have a big enough brim. What about me? I'm Mexican. Oh, yes, she's Mexican, all right, said Brian. I don't care if she was born in a bowl of chili con carne, said Dougal. That won't even cover Ermintrude's ears. I'm a Mexican sombrero. Are you? Said Florence. Yes, we're not all poncho-clad banditos, you know. Well, said Dougal, where's your brim, then? I'm a pointy sombrero. Oh, of course, said Dougal. We're looking for something to cover up a cow, not an upside-down ice cream cone, said Dougal. Akbar, Akbar, Acapulco, Mexico, taco, taco. I am the mother of all Mexican hats. Oh, for goodness sake, said Dougal, a large brown paper bag would have done. Would that be a Mexican paper bag, sir? Said Brian. Can we forget Mexican for a minute? Said Dougal. I wish I'd never mentioned it. Hello, amigos. I'm a big fan of the Mexican wave, myself. Oh, I remember it well. World Cup 1986, I were there. It were definitely handball, no question. OK, forget Mexican, I'm sorry I brought it up, said Dougal. Yo no wanto hatto Mexicano. I am not Mexican hat. Niet, niet, niet. I am from the Independent Republic of Latvia. Now, there's an honest hat, Gov, said Brian. Hang on, said Florence. Can we just recap? It's hopeless, said Dougal. I don't think this is going to work. Yes, we really only were looking for something to cover up Ermintrude's awful haircut, said Florence. How about a wig, said Dougal, or a tea cosy? Oh, I think we might hurt her feelings, said Florence, if we put a tea cosy on her head. Well, we can't leave her with a half-finished bird's nest up there, said Dougal. Do you have any weed killer? This one says Rio de Janeiro on the label. Florence was walking in the garden when Zebedee arrived. Hello, Florence. What have you got there? Said Zebedee. It's a letter, said Florence, from Monsieur Bonbon, world-famous pastry chef and purveyor of fine puddings. Ooh, sounds a bit grand. What does it say? Asked Zebedee. He's invited me to his great cake-making extravaganza and pastry demonstration, said Florence. Oh, I say, we'd better go then. Are you ready? When you are, said Florence. Now. Oh, it's very well signposted, said Florence. Thank goodness you're here, said Dougal. Hello, said Florence. There's no time for niceties. The whole place has gone mad. Mad! Round the bend, said Dougal. What's the matter, said Florence. I've just been told to keep off the footpath by a meringue. We've been invaded by pastries from another planet. Oh dear. The whole place is crawling with them. Jellies, donuts, buttered scones. Any fairy cakes? Said Florence. It's no joke, you know. They're behind the trees. Everywhere. Look out! Out of my way, said a blue eclair, rushing past them. See what I mean? Not so much as a by your leave. Yes, I see, said Florence, as another eclair raced past them. Clean your shoes, said the eclair. Push off, you calorific pest. Oh, look, Dougal. Hello, bonjour, good day, or possibly guten Tag. Now, please don't dawdle, don't dilly, und shilly-shallying ist verboten. And what, pray, are you? Said Dougal, warily. Je suis un waffle. Ich bin ein waffle from Belgium. A Belgian waffle, or if I'd come from Vienna, I might have been a strudel, or a griddle cake from Holland, or perhaps Danish pastry from Denmark, or a Chelsea bun from England, ha, said the waffle, waffling. Any chance of a nibble? Said Dougal. Oh, mais non, nein, what an idea. I hardly know you. What sort of a cake do you think I am? A waffle? Said Florence. Oh, look. And a strawberry mousse squelched round the corner. Oi, you! Yes, you, come back here, said Dougal. Come back here. Ooh, not bad. Don't do that, I can't just whip it up from nowhere, said the moose, whipping it up from nowhere. Just protecting you from the enemy, ma'am, said Dougal. Thank you, said Florence. Not at all. Now, what's this? Think I left a flan out in the rain. I don't think that I can take it, 'cause it took so long to make it. Do you think he's got a flan club? Said Florence. Bonjour, bonjour. So glad you could make it, said Monsieur Bonbon. I hope you are ready for a new experience in baking. I have a recipe for you which will make your tongue go all melty. Every mouthful will be an explosion of taste. Ooh. I suppose you're responsible for all this mayhem, said Dougal. Mais bien sûr, I am the great Bom-Bom. I am artiste in flour. I am creator of cake history. I've never been much good at domestic science, said Dougal. And now for the pièce de résistance, Monsieur Bom-Bom's Euro pudding. So Florence and Dougal helped Monsieur Bom-Bom make his Euro pudding. Is it going to have hundreds and thousands in it? Said Dougal. Boy, oh boy, are we going to bake a cake or what? Oh dear, oh. Ooh. Oh, typical, said Dougal. Are you all right? Said Florence. Another case of too many chefs, not enough Indians. Zebedee, Zebedee, said Florence. Ah, there you are. Hello. Are you really sure you want to go to the garden today? Said Zebedee, mysteriously. Why, what's happening? It's just that it's a bit noisy at the moment, you know, what with the, birds singing, and the, guitars, pianos, and drums and everything. Oh, is there some music? Said Florence. Yes, you could call it that, if you like, said Zebedee. I like the sound of that, said Florence. Yes, I thought you would, said Zebedee. Dougal was in a vocal mood. It's a hard life being a dog. It's nothing like falling off a log. You sing for your supper, you struggle and suffer. Yes, being a woofer's a slog. Oh, what wit, what poetry, what lyrical beauty. What utter rubbish, said Brian. Let's look at it another way, said Dylan. I'd say it was just like bad. Don't listen to them, they don't know what they're talking about, said Dougal. And Dougal sang another song. It's a tough life being a hound, with your nose and your ears on the ground. To do sit-up and begs, you need massive hind legs, and then you get put in the pound. Oh, joy, perhaps I should audition for the Royal Albert Hall. I suppose you'd better meet the band. On the piano we have long-eared Lettuce Jefferson. Like, hi, said Dylan. And on guitar we have a slug. I am not a slug, said Brian. I'm a snail. And anyway, what about a stage name? You promised. That's it, Brian the Slug. And so this is Dougal's music, said Florence. Yeah, it's like Dougal's, but I've got a problem here with the notes. I'm playing them, but somehow they sound like smudgy. Smudgy? My music's smudgy? Yes, and if you ask me, mine sounds all upside downy, said Brian. Upside-downy and smudgy, said Dougal. Did Andrew Lloyd Webber have to suffer this? Now get on with it. So they got on with it, and Florence listened. And listened to the smudgy piano, and to Dougal, who didn't seem to notice. And to the upside-downy guitar. Until she couldn't stand it anymore. "Excuse me," she said, "I think you'll find that those aren't notes you're playing, but smudges of jam." Smudges of jam? Oh, wow. Sweet music. "A dog must eat, you know," said Dougal. "Would you begrudge a budding Beethoven a little jam butty every now and then?" "And I think your music wouldn't sound so upside-downy if it wasn't upside down," said Florence. "Yeah, sounds much better without the jam," said Dylan. "That's much better," thought Florence. "Maybe they need a singer," thought Florence, but decided it wasn't quite her scene. "Let's get down and boogie," thought Florence, although she didn't say anything because she was a little shy. "Of course, I could have done it all myself on a synthesizer," said Dougal, "but you know what the musicians' union's like."